wonderful. Sorry for the little
technical
difficulty.
myself at the moment.
Okay. So, Wizard, this tarot deck, it's not out yet, correct? Like, it hasn't been released yet.
It isn't. I'm just starting pre-orders on it tomorrow, and should be out in a month or so.
Okay, that's amazing. Now, I did get a look at each of the cards, and I have to say it's absolutely beautiful and just magical. Now, I wanted to ask you, what was your process with each of these angels? Because when I look at these pictures, I actually see faces. In some pictures, I see like eyes, beards, like actual entities.
Wings, absolutely, yeah.
I see. It's very shocking how detailed that you were able to just have these images come through like this, and this is smoke. So literally these angel entities are appearing in the smoke. Now, can you talk about your process? Did you do a ritual per a angel that came through to you? Like, how did this go about? Like, what was the conception of this entire process?
Well, I've been really interested in this particular system of angel magic for a long time. It's called the Shemham Mephorish, and it's the 72 names of God. And with each of those angels, and on the cards, there's a psalm, a particular psalm that repeated 3 times is kind of the door open for them. So I did. I took each one of them. It was curiously enough too. The tarot deck started on the winter solstice. This deck did as well, and each one of the angels. Yeah, for sure. And the wizard deck ended on the equinox, on the spring equinox.
Wow.
And this one did as well. And neither one of them were intended to make that happen. It's just the way it worked out. Yeah.
That's amazing.
And the angels, each of the angels, once you call them with that psalm and get in a nice light trance state, they will show up and just bloom. And they really made that happen in the smoke. That's how they chose to appear to me. Yeah,
that was going to be my question. How was the channeling process? Because even when I spoke to you some time ago, you spoke of how in the beginning you were resistant to channeling angels or channeling spirits. And then I believe you said working with angels was like your first sort of gateway into it. So in working with them one-on-one yourself, because obviously you got to meet each and every one of the angels in your deck, correct?
Absolutely.
So
not only for the photography, but the readings that go with each of the angels. Yeah, each of the readings for the angels was done with automatic writing. So I shut off. Brian was gone, and what came out, they wrote. And to be honest with you, several of them, I wasn't even aware of what I was writing at the time, and then later went back and looked at them. They're very impactful. They are a connection to another level. That's quite amazing.
That's amazing. Now I'm looking at the pictures here, and you have not only astrological correspondences, you have Hebrew wordings here, and you have sigils. So you have an entire formula here to contact each and every one of these spirits. So this deck is extremely powerful because you have multiple avenues. You have the Psalms, you have correspondences, astrological, you have the elemental correspondences, you have the sigils. So on multiple levels, you're able to just connect.
And the tarot as well. It's connected to the tarot cards as well. So there's just a multitude of levels for this. You're exactly right. And what's really cool is out of this, each one of those angels has a particular day that they're responsible for. So everybody's birthday, everybody has a particular birthday angel that's kind of really, I wound up contacting that angel first and sort of leading me through being with me through all the other interactions, and it was sort of an amazing scenario.
What would you say is like normal formality for working with an angel? Offerings are pretty universal for working with spirits, but what would you say? Did you make an offering when you contacted the angels, or was it just?
I think
Go ahead.
your offering with them. I think your offering with them is your desire to connect with them and your love. And as far as a physical thing, I love to use incense. They love incense very, very much. And I use a combination of this amazing crystal clear copal, frankincense, and then a couple of other little scenarios too. But they love that smell and that energy. And they're really happy to show up and be with you. You know, other beings that are around, you know, sometimes it's almost like being in the jungle, you know, and it's not that there's evil intent, but there's all kinds of entities out in the astral, some of them just looking to eat or survive themselves. And the thing about the angels is that their goal and their job is to help, you know, and the thing about it is that people forget to ask. They don't just show up and start manipulating your life without your desire for them to help guide you. And the other thing about them is that they're just so, you know, like the archetypes in the tarot, in the major arcana. You know, they all have their qualities, but they very much feel almost human in that they have good sides and bad sides, and it's more like a human sort of thing. The thing I love so much about the angels is how pristine and pure they are, and very, very elevated. And you go up to that space, man, I didn't want to come back. I was so happy during the course of shooting it. It was just like I didn't want to come back. It was amazing.
Wow. Now, I have a question. I wanted you to speak on the different, because I see here on the deck you have different names. You have here angel, archangel, principalities. You also have powers. You have virtues and dominions, also thrones. Can you speak on what that means?
Well, there are 8 levels in this particular magical system. There are 8 levels of angel hierarchies, and the angels are the closest. There are 8 angels in the angel category, and then there are archangels and each successive one. So they each have a particular function in the angelic hierarchy and do different things, and that's pretty much what those do. You know, the typical angels that you hear about a lot, you know, like Raphael, Michael. Michael's been close to me my whole life. I love when he shows up. He shows up with the peacock wings. But people are really familiar with that. But there are 8 levels to that hierarchy. And, you know, just like the tarot deck and the major arcana, each of those cards is kind of a succession in a life lesson kind of scenario. It kind of works that way with these guys too.
Okay. I was going to say, does that mean that some angels in the hierarchy are further removed from humanity, or how does that work? Because levels means ascension, correct? So are there some that are off limits to us on this realm, like we can't contact them?
No, all of these angels are infinitely contactable, and it's not so much hierarchy in a rank of importance as it is different functions. They just kind of do different things. They have different specialties. Like the angels, the seraphim, deal a lot with God, and they deal directly on that sphere. The regular angels don't deal so much with God directly. They deal with humanity more directly. So each one of those categories of angels has a real specific job to do. And they all help one another. It's not like it's not like real separate. Okay, now these guys don't talk to these guys, and these guys don't talk to. It's a whole it's a whole happy family.
It's not like high school, basically.
No, exactly. No, exactly.
Wow, that's amazing.
You know, creating this. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, creating this deck was super different than working on the tarot deck. The tarot deck was so much a product of my will, and like I set out to do it, and I made that happen. It was a huge undertaking that just tried to stop a couple times. It was just so big, and I just kind of willed through it and stayed with it, and in the end, it was a product of my desire. In this particular instance, I shot a couple of photographs, and unwittingly, angels came through in there, and I got these really clear messages to just go ahead and produce this deck. There's a lot of people hurting out there. There's a lot of people out there that would like help and comfort and love and feel lonely. I mean, even as, you know, as connected as we seem to be with all the internet stuff and the social media, there's still a ton of people that are lonely and need companionship. So anyway, as I started shooting these images, as much of a brute force sort of thing that tarot was, this is almost like it just happened. I just was the vehicle. I just got out of the way and just shot and like lived in ecstasy for about 4 weeks. Yeah, it was a very, very, very different experience. And that's the way the manual happened for this, too.
Yeah,
so many.
And I wanted to speak on that. Yeah, on the because, you know, when I look at this deck, this is literally like, I don't want to say like a spell book, but it reminds me of a spell book in a way because
it kind of does. I was
because, you know, literally there's an angel for everything. If you need an angel for fertility, you can find one here. An angel I see for redemption, revelation, for justice, you know, loyalty, fidelity, victory. I mean, literally anything, patience, healing, for fame, you know, power. I mean, new beginnings, just literally anything that you need, you can come here and find an angel to work with and bring forth what you want, basically. You know, they can help you. So this reminds me of, you know, like a
kind of like a grimoire.
A grimoire, yes, like an angelic grimoire.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Cool points for Luna.
You can ding 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 ding. You know, you can approach this from a scenario of like you get up in the morning and you know something you need. You know, you can find that particular angel and ask for that help. You can also use this in a zone of like, you know, help me understand what I really need. What lesson do I really need to focus on today? And you know, there are affirmations with these things, and you can pull a single card for the day, and all of a sudden have the thing that you can focus on that day, and bring that angelic, pristine energy around you. You know, when I channel these guys, the air around gets still, and there's this smell in the air, and the energy just feels so amazingly pristine. It's like you don't need, you want to whisper because it's like, oh, really, really, really amazing energy to invite into your life every day.
So I have a question. Okay, so I know that there are many entities and many different broads and spectrums in which to work with. What do you think are some of the misconceptions people have about working with angels? Because, I mean, not everyone worked with angels or have even been introduced with working with angels. So what would you say that is?
Well, a lot of the misconceptions is that, one, they're only around in times of crisis, times of intense need, when somebody's sick, you know, and the reality is they'll help you with all those things, but they'll also find you a jamming parking spot. You know, it's like if you choose to include them as your friend and build this relationship with them, they'll help you with anything you need. And I think people, one, anything that they can't immediately see with their physical eyes, I think scares some people. And I think that if you're afraid to go forward, they won't come and be in your space. They're not there to cause you fear. They're there to give you love and help. So I think people get afraid of asking. I think that's the biggest misconception. And I think also that they think that there's, I get the impression that a lot of people sort of feel like the astral is constructed of angels, demons, and dead people, and those energies exist, but there's as many frequencies on the radio dial as you can tune into,
So one thing I wanted to touch on as well is what you brought up about working with that energy, working with angelic beings. I can say just from experience, if you do work with them, there is no sense of anxiety, or there is no sense, like, you just can't deny, it's undeniable, the impression of serenity, like a safe space, especially if you call upon like the higher well-known angels like Raphael, Michael. You're just going to feel it. So it's not that, when you're calling upon an entity that you've never worked with before, you don't really have, no, these angels have traveled in their names, their sigils and their impression and their energy has just traveled throughout time. So definitely wanted to share on that too.
It is the most amazingly peaceful feeling afterwards. It's just, you can't even describe it. It's like, and honestly, in astral travels, there aren't that many entities that you can just trust. And that's one of the most fabulous things about this group of spirits, is that you can, in fact, trust them. And they have shown that. And as a matter of fact, they're hanging around right now.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Now, I have a question because, I'm going back to what Luna said about misconceptions. Now, I know some people have misconceptions about angels and, feeling like I'm not clean, I'm dirty, I did this last week, and, the angel's going to judge me and doesn't want to work with me. And also, do you have to believe in the Christian paradigm or the Abrahamic religion paradigm, to work with angels? Some people feel like, oh, well, because I am not a Christian, I can't call on Gabriel or Michael. So can you speak on that? Do you have to be, part of the Christian paradigm? Do you have to, believe in Jesus and the Abrahamic God to work with these angels? Do they judge you? Do they think that you're not clean because, let's say, you slept with 7 people last week? You know what I'm saying? Like, do they judge you because of that? Are people afraid to call them?
That's a really great question, and the answer to that is if you think about it, the angel that's assigned to you at your birthday has been around with you your whole life. He knows every single thing you've ever done. So, and it's a being that is assigned to you to help you evolve and to help you grow. So being afraid of that is almost like being afraid of your own growth and kind of denying the tools you have to get better and to understand yourself and your place in the universe and how to elevate and get better every day. So on that level, on that level, I would agree with you wholeheartedly that's a perception that people have, but that's one they should chuck because it's not the way that it is.
It doesn't matter.
They love you.
They don't care about what you do.
They're not judging you. They're not they're not trying to play God, and they're not judging you. And it's not the whole Judeo-Christian evil whip you, all the stuff that goes with that. These angels are about involvement and growth and love and loving God and showing you how to be connected to that universal spirit that really doesn't need a name, or any kind of denomination. And as far as, I selected this particular group of angels because I've known about this system for a very long time, but angels are not confined to any religious order or set of dogma. They were so far beyond that. I think people put that on to try to control but that's not what the vibe is. That's not what the vibe is about on the spirit. Not many of if you really look around at the major religions, not all that many of them are about your spiritual growth. It seems like a lot of that is about crowd control more than spiritual growth.
I agree.
So
definitely.
So in the chaos magic tradition, I would say invite them all, sample them all, have them all be your friends.
Definitely. Now, really quick, you mentioned the birthday angel. How do you want to go about contacting or knowing the name, or how do you go about knowing this angel?
Well, there's a method for starting. You use the astrological chart, and you start at the first day of Aries, and you start going around on the chart, an angel for each day, and each angel will wind up with five days that they're in charge of. There's also an angel that's in charge. You know how the astrological chart is divided into chunks of 5 degrees, and there's an angel that's in charge of each of those 5 degrees too. Taruk, I already sent Aluna hers birthday angel, so if you want to send me your the day you're born on and the month, I'll be happy to send you back your card.
I'll definitely send you that.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice.
Matter of fact, we should do a single card for the show tonight too before we get off.
Oh, well, we should do that next because we only literally have like 5 minutes left for the show.
Wow.
So,
okay.
I would definitely love that.
I know time flies when you're having a good time and talking about angels.
And they get a quick shuffle. Okay, here we go. All right, Angel Anuel, Angel 60, number 63 is an archangel, and that angel is the angel of success and prosperity. And the indication for that. The indication for that is since serve the Lord with gladness, come before His presence with singing. Awesome.
Wow.
This angel's about unity, success in relationships and communication of all forms, and as a conduit to communicating with other forms of the divine. Very, very, very.
That's so funny that
beautiful.
you say that because you pulled the. That's funny that you said that because you pulled the 3 of Pentacles today, didn't you?
I did. Yes.
Was it today?
So you mean the last
on
the last reading? When we
talking
about
today, like on your page, you posted.
Oh yes, you're exactly right. Exactly right.
Synchronicity, things are just lining up. It's
more universe is speaking.
It's speaking through. Now, Wizard, really quickly, I want you to let people know like how and when they'll be able to purchase your deck. Where can they contact you? That information.
I want one. I do. I'm ready.
Well, I just launched just at 9:00 tonight my new website for the Wizard of Odd. That's Wizard with a Y of odd.com went live, and I'm actually offering a pre-order special on the tarot deck, which is coming up, and the angel deck. So if you sign up now, you get $5 off. And there'll be all kinds of really, really cool stuff on the site. I'd love for you to go and scope that out. But I would imagine in 6 to 8 weeks I'll have one in my hot little hands. I can't wait, to be honest with you. I've had it finished for a while, and it's almost like giving birth. Come on!
yeah.
I'm ready for you to be born.
Well, we're lucky enough. We have the PDF, so we get the sneak peek first. But it's a really beautiful deck, you guys.
Absolutely.
Really can't wait for it to come out. And
if you guys want to hit me up, if anybody listening wants to hit me up on my Facebook, thewizardofodd.com, I'll be happy to shoot you back a birthday angel. How about that?
Nice.
Wow, thank you so much. Yes. Okay, so are there any final questions, Aluna, that you want to ask?
No.
No? Okay, well, thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. It was a pleasure having you, Wizard, on our show, and just talking about this beautiful.
I can't believe it's August already. Can you?
I know, about to be September.
It's 2017 already, basically.
Yeah. Really,
definitely.
really grateful for you guys sharing your space with me, and appreciate it immensely. Yes.
Yeah, and we're grateful for you for sharing, these beautiful cards with us and your knowledge.
And the messages, messages, because it's always nice to have enlightening, different perspectives. That's definitely what this show is about, broadening the perspective and allowing people to see a glimpse of different systems, different magical practices and systems. So
absolutely, that's
glad to have you.
Well, you guys are doing a great job, man. Keep up the good work, okay?
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And with that, we will see you guys on the next one. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, you guys. Awesome.